My goal this winter is to ride all winter. I even started a little video series with the acronym LAW. There is only one problem. I live in Minnesota and I don't own a fat bike. If you walk into a bike shop in December, they aren't selling trail bikes to people wanting to ride in the snow. They will show you all the fat bikes they have in stock. Well, I'm not interested in owning a bike to only ride in the snow. It might feel like we live north of the wall here in Minnesota, but in reality, you only get about 12 weeks of viable winter riding here. Snow will arrive in late December and be gone by early March. Just doesn't seem worthwhile buying a $2,000 bike for that short of a season. I still want to ride in the winter, so I will be looking at trying some fat bikes, but for now I'm going to be making small modifications to my trail bike for riding in the snow. I should clarify that you don't need a fat bike to ride in the snow, but some trail systems still live in the 90s and require you to ride a bike with a 3.8-inch tire or above. Before we get into my bike set, we should probably get into some of the rules of winter biking. First rule is always check the weather. We never ride when the weather is above freezing. I personally never ride in the snow if it's in the 30s. Snow will start melting and the trails will get ruined when the weather warms up. This will end up taking away a few opportunities to ride. Second rule is to ride with lower tire pressure. We want to run PSI around a third of what we run during the summer day. Lower tire pressure will give you better traction and keep from digging into the trail surface. Tires with too much PSI will rut up the snowpack. Third rule is don't walk on the snowpack. We never walk and post holes in the trail surface. When riding in the snow, you will fall, and on occasion you'll have to walk your bike. Make sure you keep your footsteps on the side of the trail. You don't want to hurt the packed trail if possible. The fourth rule is old snow is the best snow. After a fresh snowfall, give it a day or two before you go ride. In the perfect world, the trail would get groomed or packed right after a fresh snowfall. Then, after 24 hours, the snow will firm up and be ready to ride. I think waiting 48 hours after a snowfall is the best choice.
In the snow than you would think.
Now, these rules are like the golden rule. Don't be a jerk. No one will arrest you for breaking these rules, but you won't be making a lot of friends on the trails if you do. So now that is out of the way, let's look at my bike setup. Honestly, you won't see much of a difference from my summer setup. The only real difference is in the wheels. I've swapped out my summer rubber for some winter rubber. On the front tire, I am using a 45 North Wrathchild. This is a studded 3-inch tire for some extra float and traction in the snow. The tire is running at a lower pressure and has a Cushcore insert. I've got the tire pressure at 10.5 psi. On the rear, I'm running a WTB Ranger tire. This is a 2.8-inch tire with a Cushcore insert. I've got the tire pressure running at 11 psi for the rear. The wider tires with low air pressure and tire inserts allow the bike to float on the snow and have just enough traction to climb and descend with confidence. Not all trail bikes are built to support tires this wide. Thankfully, the V3 5010 was built to handle plus tires. There is plenty of clearance on the rear of the bike. I might be able to even run a wider tire. I've been running a similar setup for the past 2 winters. I really like having the studded tire in the front. I feel the studs add a little extra traction in the snow. I have not had any issues with the studs rubbing on the fork. I have yet to try a stud tire on the rear. I can feel the rear wheels slide on occasion, but for the most part that is manageable. I don't mind the rear sliding, and the traction is good most of the time. This is the first year I am using my carbon rims in the winter. I do have a set of 35mm rims, but I think there really isn't enough of a difference to justify swapping the rims out. My Carbon Noble rims have a 31mm width, so that 4mm doesn't really seem to be that big of a difference. So with these small changes to the trail bike, I can ride this bike all winter. It might not be the perfect tool for the job, but it sure gets the job done. Thanks for watching. Your support helps me keep making these videos. If you haven't yet, please subscribe because it helps a lot. Also, check out my social media channels on Instagram and Facebook. But most of all, go out and ride your bike.